Well, there's two of them. Manana there.
Too big?
Yeah.
We welcome everyone here. If you're coming in, just take a moment to mute yourself if you aren't already. And we also are welcoming all those people joining us in the social media world, wherever you are. It's wonderful to have you on whatever time you're watching. It is so great to introduce our Shir Shalom community to Joni Leeds, who is all the way, went to Syracuse University, I found out. She hasn't actually been in Buffalo, but we'll have to help her. Of course, a lot of you have read her bio, Grammy award-winning artist, and we're really, it's a real pleasure to have her with us today to celebrate Passover. I was telling everyone before, we've had 2 pandemic Passovers, but I'd say this is my first COVID one. Unfortunately, I got the bug, and as it goes, it changes everything. And thankfully, I'm feeling all better and appreciate all the prayers in the community. Anyways, we're gonna really be together today, tonight, to celebrate our second night, as we always do, as our second night Seder. And I know it's in each of our individual homes, and looking out, I can just see a whole wide array, some feasts out there. So it's wonderful to see everyone. We're going to do a little trick here at the beginning. And again, we encourage you to mute just because we have a big group here today. We're going to do a little Zoom trick, which I learned over the years, which is we're going to really look at one another and wish each other happy Passover with our eyes. What we'll do is we'll take a moment just to really look deeply at whatever screen you look at. And all of us have different configurations in front of us. But if you kind of scroll through and you look at one another, it'll be like we're next to each other and we're smiling at each other. So let's just take a moment to do that. It is so good to be together here. We're going to get some music, some laughter. We're going to have the Haggadah on display. So if you don't have one in front of you, a lot of you have Seder plates, which are wonderful. It's a way of telling the story. I think we understand what our ancestors did, all of us in some way, understand what it means to kind of be imprisoned, enslaved. And all of us understand also, hopefully, what it means to have freedom. And that's the evolution that we're going to go through tonight. So hopefully at the beginning, we feel a little bit the Zoom prison that we're in, but hopefully by the end of it, we really feel a sense of joy and freedom. It's my pleasure, by the way, also we have Joanne and Cantor Frank. Cantor and I will also be leading here today. We're going to begin with a song from Joni. It's called Freedom. So I'm going to turn it over to her to lead the way.
Know it. Please sing along. All we have to do now is take these lies and make them true somehow. All we have to see is that you don't belong to you. You don't belong to me. Yeah, freedom. Freedom. Freedom, you gotta give for what you take. Freedom, 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 you got to give for what you take. Oh, freedom, oh, freedom, freedom, oh, freedom, freedom. Freedom, oh freedom.
I can just taste it. It's like you can see it out in the distance. Actually, your picture behind you, Joni, says it all, I think. What we're going to do now is I'm going to share my screen so we can see the words of what we're looking at. So you're going to see the Zoom Gada. You might remember that from last year when we were all on our Zoom screens. And we created this from Shir Shalom. There we are, April 16, 2022. These are some wonderful slides that Cantor found. Let's read together. As we gather around the Seder table, each of us find meaning and purpose in retelling the age-old story of the Exodus from Egypt. As we journey from bondage to redemption, may we each appreciate that the Haggadah holds more than history. It is a tangible connection to our heritage. Aren't we all wanderers in the desert? Don't we all yearn to be part of something greater than ourselves? How do we find connection? How do we hold on to hope? How do we discover our purpose? How do we let go of whatever is holding us back? Why is this night different from all other nights? This night is different because we are here together, having fully made the commitment to remember and recount. May we be fully present and open to the mysteries about to unfold. I love that reading. Also that sense that our group is a unique group tonight. Again, another reading that Cantor had found for me. On this night, may our souls cry out against indifference, injustice, and inequality. May we be inspired to work towards this understanding and enlightenment. On this night, may our hearts grow in compassion. May we find the courage and ability to bring freedom to those enslaved and hope to those who are suffering. On this night, may we feel a connection to community and each other. May everything we say and do be a reflection of our best selves. On this night, may we discover that love is the answer. Love is always the answer. And may that discovery fill our hearts and homes and our worlds with peace. With that, we're going to light our candles. If you have candles in front of you, I invite you to light now, and Cantor will lead us in the blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Yom Tov.
We praise God, ruler of everything, who made us holy through obligations, commanding us to light our holy candles. May they light our way through this Passover. And we have our special melody of Kiddush. If you want to lift up your Kiddush cup, and again, Cantor will lead us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hakafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'am, v'romemanu mikol hasham, v'kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'ahava, moadim l'simcha, chakim uzmanim l'sason. את יום חג המצות הזה, זמן חירותנו, מקרקעות אש זכר יציאת מצרים. כי יפנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת בכל העמים. מועדי קודשך בשמחה ובששון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש ישראל והזמנים.
Amen. L'chaim. Let's drink to freedom, and may each drop feel the joy of this coming season. We're going to continue. Oh, there was this prayer. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, who has chosen us from all peoples, raised us above all tongues, and sanctifies us with God's commandments. You've given us, Adonai, our God, appointed us for times of happiness, holiday, special time for joy. This festival of Matzot, our season of freedom, our holy convocation in memory of the Exodus from Egypt. For you have chosen us and sanctified us above all peoples. In your glorious love, you granted us your special times for happiness and joy. Blessed are you, God, who sanctifies Israel in the appointed times. And now, because it's always new, is our Seder as a community. So I think we could say a Shekianu as well.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kilanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Boy, that manna sherbets tastes good. All right, we're ready for symbolically. Basically, the Seder is filled with lots of mysteries, but we eat a little bitterness at the beginning, which is now parsley. And because we're going to eat, we need to wash. So I think we should cleanse our hands. And as you can see, there's lots of soap there. That's not the traditional way. So just kind of rub your hands spiritually like the priests would have done. Our hands can be vehicles for creation or destruction. We cleanse our hands and dedicate them for working good in the world. Now we're ready for karpas. So if you have any type of greenery, as this is spring, hopefully eventually in Buffalo, I don't remember where Joni is, but maybe things are already blooming there. You could take a little parsley. I got Italian parsley here. And you dip it in the salt water. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri ha'adamah. A lot of times people would be eating their gefilte fish at this point as well. So for those of you that have matzah in front of you, it's tradition to take a little out that we would be for kind of hiding. There's usually a minimum of 3 matzahs. So if you have that in your 5-pack variety or gluten-free, whatever you have, we divide it in 2. And you hide one in a napkin for later on, which is the dessert. It's kind of saving away that kind of goodness. Let's turn to Halach Ma'anya. And Cantor, I don't remember, were we singing this one? Okay.
Halach Ma'anya di'achalu hakalu avahatana be'ara di Mitzrayim be'ara di Mitzrayim kodichvin yeteveichol koditzrich yeteveichsach hashatacha Lishana haba be'ara Israel hashata avte Lishana haba b'nei uvenot chorin.
At the Seder, we begin as slaves. We eat matzah, the bread of affliction, which leaves us hungry and longing for redemption. The matzah enables us to imagine what it was like to have only poor bread to eat, to be denied the right to live free and healthy lives. But while we will soon enjoy a large meal, God willing, and end the Seder night for free people, 795 million people around the world live with daily reality of hunger. Let us work towards a time when all who are hungry will eat as free people. Amen.
Amen.
Now we're ready for the Manishtana, and Joni is going to lead us in that.
Manishtana halayla hazeh mikol halilot sherecho halilot anu ochim chametz umatzah halayla hazeh kulo מצה הלילה הזה כולו מצה שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים שאר ירקות הלילה הזה מרור הלילה הזה מרור שבכל הלילות אין אנו מפעילים אפילו פעם אחת הלילה הזה שתי פעמים הלילה הזה שתי פעמים שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים בין יושבים ובין מסובים הלילה הזה כולנו מסובים הלילה הזה כולנו
Our night is filled with questions, and it's always good to be curious. Whatever stage of life we're in, always be curious. Here are some questions for 2022. What are your hopes and dreams for the coming year? What are you most afraid of? What inspires you? What are you willing to risk? Think, if you'd like, add into the chat and see if there is some of these answers that you'd like to offer. We're going to turn over to the four children, traditionally four boys, but we know that it's just four people, the wise, the wicked, the simple, and the one who doesn't know how to ask. Here's all different versions of it. Take a look at this. Some of you remember this from last year and see which one you like the best. And again, if you'd like to contribute anything, put it in the chat. Such a sweet one. I love this one. How about this? You guys know. And for all the musicians out there, which instrument do you feel like? And then lastly, penguins. They all kind of look the same, at least to a penguin. All right, we're going to do the story of Passover in 15 seconds. This is a new edition this year. So if you want to take out your clocks, I did not write this version, but we're going to see if I can do it in 15 seconds. Okay, you guys ready? It's a long time ago. We're slaves in Egypt. Pharaoh was a nightmare. We cry out for help. God brings us plagues upon the Egyptians. We escape, bake matzah. God parts the sea. We make it through. The Egyptians aren't so lucky. We wander 40 years in the desert. Eat manna, get the Torah, wind up in Israel, get a new temple, enjoy several years without being persecuted. Let's brisk it. It's cool now. I think I got it. All right, we got our 10 plagues. I got also a new version of our plague here. So if you want to take a little of your, either with your, there's different versions. Sometimes people use like the pinky, sometimes people use a knight, and you take a little bit of your happiness out each time, a little drop, a reminder of the sadness of the Egyptians as well. And maybe Cantor, you want to chant this as I go through?
Tam Tzefaltea Kinim Arom דבר שכין ברד הרבה חושך מכת בכורות.
One of the things you can do is you can hold up. This is what mine looks like this year. All right, we're ready for Joni. I'm going to take down the screen at this point. We're ready to sing to Frida.
Before I start the next song, I want to acknowledge that there are many people that are oppressed all throughout the land, currently and in history. And this next song that I'm going to sing is a spiritual, and it's called Let My People Go. And so I wanted to honor the people that wrote this song. And if you know it, please sing along. When Israel was in Egypt, let my people go. They worked so hard they could not stand. Let my people go. Go down, Moshe, way down in Egypt land, and tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. He said, go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land, and tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. Let my people go. Let my people go. Now, I don't know if I can top the version that the rabbi did in 15 seconds, so I'll take my time a little bit by explaining that after Moses asked Pharaoh to let my people go, we know that they were leaving in a very big hurry, and they had to get out of Egypt very quickly so that they become free. But they didn't have time to make bread. They didn't have time to pack all of their things, so they were in a really big rush. And there's a beautiful song by Leah Abrams that I love to sing, and it goes like this. It's called Out of Egypt. No time to linger, get out of bed. Put on your sandals, cover your head. Roll up the blankets, tie up the sack. This one on your shoulder and that one on your back. Out of Egypt to be free. Out of Egypt to be free. There's no time to bake now, just bring the dough. Water, take water and keep voices low. Pick up the babies, hold your sister's hand. Come follow Moses to the promised land. Out of Egypt to be free. Out of Egypt to be free. And as we know, they got to the Red Sea, big crashing waves, and they were not sure how to get to the land of Israel, and they were in trouble. And so they needed a miracle. And so the next song that I'm going to sing is called Mi Chamocha, Wade in the Water, which is also a spiritual. And we all know the story of Nachshon, who went first. Mi Chamocha, Ali Adonai, Mi Chamocha, Netam B'Kodesh, Dora Tehillah Rosei Be'emet. Who is that yonder, dressed in white, wade in the water. It must be Moses and the Israelites, and God's gonna part the water. Who is that walking through the waves, wading in the water? It must be Nachshon going first, so brave. God's gonna part the water. Who is that yonder, staff in hand, wading in the water? Moses is leading them to the promised land, and God's gonna part the water. And they finally crossed, and they were able to make it to freedom just in time, as Pharaoh, of course, changed his mind. But they made it finally to freedom, and so, of course, we sing Dayenu, enough. It would have been enough if we just had the Torah, if we have Shabbat, we have our freedom, and it is so special to us. We sing Dayenu. And if you know it, please join in. Dayenu. I'm especially enjoying Julia and Chris's hand motions. Shabbat natalanu et hashabbat dayenu 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 slaves, but now we are free, and we hope for freedom for all oppressed and marginalized societies. And today we remember our freedom as we sing Avadim Hayinu. Avadim Hayinu, Hayinu, Atam b'nechorim, b'nechorim, Avadim Hayinu, Atam b'nechorim, Avadim Hayinu, Ta'atam b'nechorim, b'nechorim, Avadim Hayinu, Hayinu, Atam b'nechorim. hayinu ata benefori avanim hayinu ata benefori
Joni, that was wonderful. And I saw so many people. I love how you picked out the Kohans. I was loving that too. Marlene Glickman, I can't believe it. You're singing and dancing there. I love that. It's been so long. That's the wonder of Zoom. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to actually move towards the actual meal. And we're actually going to include the Seder just because of the way it is on Zoom. So what we'll do right now is we are going to turn to our second cup of wine. I'm going to reshare my screen. Oops. So many buttons. Okay, here we go. And this is really moving towards freedom. We're right at the sea at this point. Invite Cantor to lead us in the Brit Pregafel.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei beriach hafen.
L'chaim. Okay, so we have our second washing. If you want to go like this again, cleansing our hands, this time with a blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netzilat yadayim. Blessed are you, God, who allows us to wash and clean and be healthy and free. If you have your matzah handy, when you hold it up, we have two different blessings for the matzah. The first one is the one in front of you. And let's say this one together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. And we'll have our second blessing, which is al achilat matzah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat matzah. Now we can take a nice, deep bite, crunchy bite of matzah. I remember, Cantor, back when gluten-free matzah was about $30. Okay, so now we're gonna take a little of the maror. So this is the bitter herbs. If you want to cheat, by the way, lettuce, romaine lettuce counts as maror. So if you're not a big fan of maror, you could do that. Or if you're a big fan, just put a nice big heaping it. Usually we put it on the matzah, but if you want to do it separately as well. Now here's the blessing over the maror. Here's the red type. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat maror. Taste that bitterness and the bread of affliction, and then we are ready for the Hillel sandwich, the first of the sandwiches. So if you want to take a little charoset and a little of the maror, and back in the day of Hillel, he would also have a shankfon in there, I think, too. It was a real Dagwood sandwich there. And put them together so you combine all the different flavors. Ashir and I always joke, I don't really care what goes in. If I'm at a salad bar, I put them all together and they all taste great to me. Some people, like our kids, don't mix all the food together, but this is the real sandwich here. Got a little maror here, charoset, radish. Let's have our korach sandwich now. Nice and crunchy. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're actually going to pretend like the meal happened. You guys can eat, but we are going to sing a little bit, and we're moving to the second half of the meal. So pretend you've already gone there. If you want, you could press pause and go into the feed and see the end of the Seder later. Up to you, but I think we're going to turn it over to Joni now to sing about the guest that comes on Passover.
Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Agilati, Bimhera b'yamenu, Yavo Eleinu, Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben David, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu
I feel like Miriam and Elijah are here. All of us kind of exhibit that. We all can help one another. And it's when we selflessly look to help one another that Elijah and the Messiah, the Messianic period, is really present. I love that old story from the Baal Shem Tov, the Hasidic master, who asked God, well, what is hell? And he's taken up to a place where there's a beautiful meal set, but everyone has one hand tied behind their back. And so they can't eat. Then he says, well, what's heaven? And he's brought up to the same exact place, but instead of everyone just trying to fend for themselves, everyone helps and supports one another. That is true heaven. So what we're going to do is we are going to have our final song, which is Miriam's song, as we evoke the sacred prophetess who really brings that spirituality at the end when we cross the sea, and who is the nurturing presence in the wilderness. So we're going to sing to that, but what we'll do is we'll stop the recording after Joni's finished, and we'll thank Joni, of course, for all of just what she's done. But if you do want to stay around and you want to eat together or be present or just talk, that will be an opportunity then. It has been just an utter, it's our pleasure, Joni, to have us with you, with us, our church home community. We do hope you come to Buffalo one of these days. It's really not too far from Syracuse, and it's a really nice, friendly community, especially during the summer when the weather is really nice. So we'll turn it over to you for Miriam's song.
Thank you so much. And I will definitely prefer coming in the summer than the winter, knowing the Syracuse winters. I know what it's like. And I just want to also thank you, Rabbi, and thank Arlene and everybody who brought me in to the Zoom room where it happens tonight. And Chag Sameach, and have a wonderful rest of your Passover. And yes, Miriam Song. I love this song very much. Timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song, sing a song. The ones who we've exalted, Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove, each one sang our history. With every strand and every thread she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit as she dances toward the light. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song, sing a song. The ones who we've exalted, Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam stood upon the shores and gazed across the sea. The wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would march to freedom and march to the promised land. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song, sing a song to the ones who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam the prophet took the timbrel in her hand and all the women followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song. She sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle. We're gonna dance tonight. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the ones who we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance and dance the whole night long. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long.
All right, let's unmute and really thank Joni for being here and wish each other a happy Passover. Happy Passover. Thank you, Joni.
Passover.
Thank you.
Happy Passover.
Mayor.
Happy Passover.
Happy Passover, everybody.
Passover. Here we go.
Everyone.
Passover, guys.
Happy Passover, eh?
Happy
Passover.
Happy Passover, everybody.
Passover. Happy Passover, guys. Oh,
Happy
dancing.
Again. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
No.
Okay.
Happy Passover.
Happy Passover.
Happy Passover.
Happy Passover.
Happy Passover.
Yeah, good. All the families.
All right, so Joanne, why don't you stop the recording?